But she's talking about my day. Only one I got. And if you don't think every day is important, you just try missing one of them. She's talking here in my city. I've got a reputation at stake. I couldn't let her abuse a day like that. And so I said, yes, it's absolutely magnificent, isn't it? She looked at me with disgust mingled with contempt as she said, you have been out in the sun too long. I said, no, to tell you the truth, I just got back from overseas. I've seen poverty like you cannot possibly imagine. I've seen men and women with nothing to eat and children with no clothes to wear. I've seen sanitation conditions that would absolutely turn your stomach. And I look at you and you're young and you're healthy and you're pretty. And you're working and you live in America. And I know in my own mind, because I've seen so many cases of it happening, you can take this job you've got right here doing exactly what you're doing and doing it to the absolute best of your ability. And they will move you up, because the one controlling factor in the growth of any organization is quality, skilled, gung-ho, motivated people. And I said, you could someday be the manager of this cafeteria. And I said, who knows but what someday some investors might be attracted to your personality and the way you do things. And you might be given an opportunity to become a part owner in a business, because I said, this is America. Now, personally, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, that's, right off the top of my head. I mean, hey, what do you expect? And I knew that she wanted to express her undying gratitude for the fact that I'd so willingly and unselfishly given of my time and my effort to make her lot in life better. So I looked at her and I said, now you feel better, don't you? She said, you are sick. Well, you win some, you lose some, and some are rained out, And so I kind of tucked my tail between my legs, and me and my buddy went on down, and we sat down, and like I say, it was brutally hot. I quickly finished off the glass of tea, and a little lady about 65 or 70 years old. She was one big wrinkle. I've never seen anything quite like it. But I'm also here to tell you I've never seen eyes that were more beautiful and alive and dancing than what I was witnessing with her. She came up to me and she said, "Could I get you some more tea?" I said, "You bet." I said, "How you doing?" She did a little two-step backwards and said, "Honey, if it is any better, I'd think the deck was stacked." I said, "Well, why don't you go tell the ladies on this side?" And then she expressed a wisdom that really was astonishing. She said, "Oh, no, pardon mock shock." She said, "If I fool around with those girls very long, I might be just like they are." Very true. You see, Solomon said, if you would be wise, you run with the wise. If you want to be a fool, you run with fools. We are affected by the people that we are around. There is no question about that. You want to build that winning attitude? You want to maintain it and keep things going in a positive way? Then we need to understand everybody we deal with is a person. I heard about a fellow that returned a phone call, and the person at the other end picked it up and says 286-7145. And the gentleman said, "Yes, I'd like to speak with John Anderson." And the person at the other end said, "Well, who is this?" He said, "It's 233-9191. Now, let me tell you something that happened to me. People say, "Zayla, where do you get all your stories?" Hey, most of them happened to me. About 6 months ago, I was running pretty close to departure time. I checked in at the counter there, and as soon as the person saw my name, got on the little PA system to the people in the plane and said, "3C is here." I was seated in seat 3C. Well, I thought to myself, well, now I really am a number. But I got at least a letter to go along with the number. I'm 3C. Well, I went in and sat down and got airborne, and they came around to take the orders for the lunch. And he came to me and I said, "Well, I believe you got a special meal for me." He turned to the other person and said, "Fat-free is here." So I would... So I'm 3C and fat-free in case anybody, Now, the way you greet people in person is important. The way you greet people on the telephone is extremely important also. I would challenge you, two of you, get together, look up 10 numbers of businesses in wherever you live, and swap numbers. Don't put the name of the businesses down. When you dial those 10 numbers, you will be unable to identify more than 3 of them based on the way they answer the telephone. Get an early company, and you don't have any more idea than a goat as to what the number is or who the company is. At our company, when the phone rings, our ladies pick it up and with a lot of enthusiasm says, "Good morning." And then they make a motivational speech, not nearly as long as the ones I make, but they make a motivational speech. It's a great day. People always ask me, is it always a great day? You bet it is. Years ago we decided it's going to be a great day today. And then it's a great day at Zig Ziglar's. This is Barbara or this is Lou. How may I direct your call? Entire length of conversation, 6 seconds. It's astonishing how much time that will save. It is astonishing how much better you get as a response. Because as you know, some people in some parts of the country, they just flat talk funny. And when the first few words on a telephone call are made, most people do not understand the first few words. And got nothing to do with their hard of hearing or not. But when we say good morning, they generally, because that's so familiar, they respond to that. Then when they say it's a great day, now we've got their entire attention. And when we identify the company, then it does make a difference. They do get the word. When I'm at home, and I stress this, when I'm at home, I answer the phone in a different way. I might pick the telephone and answer it singing, "Oh, it's a beautiful day," or "Good morning to you." And now you know why I don't make any effort to sing in church. But a lot of times they'll say, "Well, who is this?" And I'll say, "Whoever you want. Who do you want?" "My, you sure do feel good today." And I said, "Yep, like I said earlier, I decided a long time ago I was going to feel good today." Now I might pick it up and say, "Howdy, howdy, howdy." Now, my favorite way of answering the telephone, "Good morning, this is Gene Ziegler's happy husband." Now, I do it for 2 reasons. Number 1, it is the truth. And number 2, fellas, you cannot believe how many points I score with that redhead when I answer the telephone that way, okay? And I like to score points with a redhead. Now, when my grandchildren were small, they're, with one exception now, our son and his bride delivered to us last October the 30th, a beautiful new one. But the others, now the other grandchildren are on up, they're too old for this. But when they were little and coming along, or when my children were little, I would use it this way. Now, my first 3 granddaughters were Sunshine. I nicknamed them all. Second one was Keeper. When a fisherman pulls in a good one, he knows he's got a keeper. The third one was Little Lover. And the fourth one is Promise. Now, Keeper is babysitting Promise, so she's a promise keeper. Well, anyhow, and she was the one that pointed that out to me. Well, when one of the grandchildren were around, I'd pick up the telephone, I'd say, "Good morning, this is Keeper's proud granddaddy." Or, "Good morning, this is Sunshine's proud granddaddy." You ought to see those little eyes just a-dancing there. Oh, it is something. When our son was a youngster, we'd pick up the telephone, and the phone rang one day, and I'd say, "Good morning, this is Tom Ziegler's proud pop." And a little voice from Sam Wing, who lived down the street, came on. He said, Is Tom there? Is Tom there? I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Can I speak to him?" I said, "Yeah, Tom." And then Sam turned to his parents, somebody, and said, "Boy, they've got a weird way of answering the telephone." But I noticed something rather interesting happen, and from then on, every time I'd pull my car in the driveway, old Sam would see it, and 2 seconds later the telephone would ring, I'd answer it that way, and old Sam would say, "Is Tom there? Is Tom there?" He didn't want to talk to Tom, he wanted to hear me answer the telephone. All right? Now, you might say, what's the big deal? Remember we talked about our personal life, our family life, and our business life. Let me tell you what this does to the family. Creates an environment. Creates an environment. See, kids are going to go where they're welcome, They're going to go where there's love. They're going to go where there's excitement. We used to have our den just filled with youngsters from all over. Many of them coming in just to see who this strange couple were, you know. But I'd rather be serving a dozen of the kids Coca-Cola in my den than having somebody else serving my children Coke in their den. See, kids are going to join gangs. The rest of the story with Sam Wing is Sam was overweight, and we became friends. I was doing a lot of jogging. Sam started jogging with me. He lost all of the weight. When he was a junior at Notre Dame University, got one of the most beautiful letters. He said, you know, my family and I have always been close, and his family is loving and close. But he said, I just want you to know that the impact your family, you and your wife had on my life made a substantial difference. We touch and affect people wherever we go in whatever we do. And answering that telephone creates an environment for our children and for our family. It does make a difference. You might say, well, you know, that's kind of out of character for me. Well, let me just simply say, we can make it not out of character for you. When you act a little of that out, the first thing you know, you will be that way. I'm really talking about consideration for others. You know, there's a Afro-American saying that it takes a whole village to raise a child. The Babemba tribe in South Africa has a most unusual custom. When somebody does something of a criminal nature,